A few years ago, I met someone who was struggling with English. He studied English for years but still could not speak confidently, and it was so frustrating. Then he changed his approach, and in few months, his English improved like never before. So today I'm going to share those same tricks with you. I'll share three simple tips with you. These three simple tips will help you to learn English like a pro. Okay, so watch this video right till the end because the last tip is the most powerful of all. I'm Ritu Ratnam. Let's get started. So the first tip to become pro in English is learn new words, expressions or phrases. Some of you might have experienced that after putting lot of effort, you can understand a lot of English, but you can't seem to use those words or expressions in your real conversation. And it's frustrating, right? So you need to change your approach here. You need to learn English from natural English sources like listening to podcasts, listening English interviews, okay, watching YouTube videos in English. So these are natural English sources. Why I'm telling you to learn from natural English sources? Because I know as an English learner, you have been to many different institutes, you would had many different courses, English courses, or you looked at many different grammar books. But sometimes what you have learned in a textbook is not always what we use in our real conversation or what native speakers use in their conversation. Now, don't get me wrong here. Textbooks are important. They are the foundation. But many people experience the same frustration of not able to use those words or expressions what they have learned in a textbook in their real conversation. That is why I'm telling you to learn English from natural English sources. And what are natural English sources? YouTube videos in English or podcast in English, watching interviews in English, or you could also watch any TV series in English movies. Okay, there are plenty of natural sources of English you can watch or listen. Alright, this way you will develop the ability to use real English in your conversation. In other words, your English will start to sound more natural. And start with small achievable goals. Sometimes what happens is that English learners, they set very high goals for themselves. It's very good to set goals for yourself, but if you set goals like to learn 200 words in 3 to 4 days, it's a bit too short period. Okay, you have family, you have other responsibilities, you are working. So it's better to set small achievable goals. What happens if you set big goals for yourself and you don't achieve them, suddenly you start to feel down. Okay, so it's better to set small achievable goals and gradually you can increase your goals. This way, you will build your confidence as you consistently achieve your goals. Okay, now let's talk about tip number 2. And tip number 2 is write it in your notebook. Okay, you need to write the word, expression, the meaning, and describe from where and how you learned it. Did you notice I'm not just saying you to write the word or its meaning in your notebook? You need to actually connect the situation. Okay, connect to the place from where you saw or heard the word because that will create a trigger for your brain. So you need to write 3 things in your notebook. First thing, the word or expression, second thing, the meaning, and third thing, from where you have learned or heard the word. Okay, why is this so important? See, when you write down the word or anything, whatever you have learned, you automatically focus your full attention on them. So by writing down, you are actually telling your brain that I need you to remember this information. And your brain says, okay, we can remember this information. So, by writing down, you are actually giving these triggers to your brain. And this will help you to remember the information faster. Okay. So, it's not important to just sit and watch. You have to go to the next level. Okay. whatever you have learned, you need to write it down. That's how your brain is able to connect and help you to use those expressions or words in your daily conversation. Now let's talk about tip number 3, and that is teach 3 people. You have to actually teach to somebody else. Okay, you have to teach 3 people whatever you have learned from natural source of English. Now maybe you are asking, Ritu ma'am, you are a teacher and I am a student learning from you. That is true, but when you learn something or when you see something exciting, what do you naturally do? You share it with somebody else, right? So, by sharing your learning, by sharing any interesting thing, you are actually teaching other people. Okay? You know, it's our natural habit to tell other people the things which are important to us, which are interesting to us. Okay? Do the same thing when it comes to English. Find 3 people and share your learning with them. You can share with your friends or you can share your learning with the people who are also learning English like you. Okay, whatever you have learned, you have to explain your learning to them. You know, when a student spends time teaching what they have learned, they eventually start to understand the information more and remember it. Your brain is amazing. First, you have to take in the information, process it, and then you have to produce it again. And when you are going to teach first person, you will be little nervous. Second person, you will be a bit comfortable. And by the third person, you will be super confident in your English speaking ability and be able to use whatever you have learned in your real conversation. Okay, so you must teach 3 people who are also learning English like you. Okay, so these are 3 tips that you must follow in your English learning journey, and I'm sure you will see a lot of improvement in your English speaking ability. That's all for now. I hope you found this video helpful. If yes, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And also write which tip you like the most in comment section below. I'll see you soon. Stay happy. Take care. Bye-bye.